Ever wondered who the man behind the famous quote, "An unexamined life is not worth living," was? Born in Athens, Greece, in the 5th century BCE, Socrates was a man of profound intelligence and insatiable curiosity. His early life was marred by the struggles of the Peloponnesian War, but this didn't dampen his spirit. Rather, it honed his resolve to seek knowledge and truth. Even as a young man, Socrates was known for his sharp mind and a knack for questioning everything. This innate curiosity laid the foundation for his unique approach to philosophy. He made the world his classroom, and the people of Athens his students. Socrates was a frequent figure in the public squares and marketplaces of Athens, engaging in lively debates and discussions. He was not selective. His interlocutors ranged from the young and impressionable to the experienced politicians, from the common public to the learned sophists. The topics? Oh, they were as varied as his audience. Freedom, reason, democracy, the concepts of good and evil. Socrates would dissect these complex ideas with the precision of a surgeon using the tool of dialogue. His style was unique. He didn't lecture, he conversed. Socrates believed that truth could only be uncovered through questioning and dialogue. His method, now known as the Socratic method, was not just about winning an argument. It was about examining beliefs, challenging assumptions, and ultimately gaining a deeper understanding of life and the world. In these dialogues, Socrates was often victorious, not because he was the most eloquent speaker, but because he was the most thoughtful listener. Socrates was a master of turning the mirror of introspection onto others, making them examine their own beliefs. Socrates, an intellectual force, was a relentless pursuer of truth and wisdom, irrespective of whom he was speaking with. His early life and personality set the stage for his later philosophical contributions, turning him into one of the most influential thinkers of all time. And yet, this was just the beginning of his fascinating journey. The story of Socrates is far from over. Imagine standing alone in a court of 401 judges, defending your life and philosophy. This was the reality for Socrates. In the heart of ancient Athens, the court convened, the air thick with anticipation. Socrates, the renowned philosopher, was on trial. The charges were grave: corrupting the minds of the youth, being anti-democratic, and defending monotheism in a polytheistic society. This was no ordinary trial. It was a battle of wits and ideas, and Socrates was not one to back down. He stood firm, using his keen intellect and dialectic skills to challenge the charges brought against him. Let's delve deeper into the charges. The first, corrupting the youth, was an accusation born out of Socrates' penchant for questioning everything. His Socratic method of engaging in dialogue to expose ignorance and stimulate critical thinking was not universally appreciated. The Athenian society, rooted in tradition, viewed this as a threat, fearing it would lead the youth astray. The second charge, being anti-democratic, was based on Socrates' skepticism towards democracy. He believed that the rule of the knowledgeable was superior to the rule of the many. This was a radical idea in democratic Athens, and it didn't sit well with the masses. The third and final charge was the defense of monotheism in a society that believed in multiple gods. Socrates spoke of a singular divine force that guides morality, a concept that clashed with the popular religious beliefs of the time. Throughout the trial, Socrates defended his philosophy with remarkable eloquence and logic. His dialogue with the judges was a testament to his intelligence and his skill as a debater. Even when provoked, he maintained his composure, using reason and argument rather than resorting to emotional appeals. Yet Socrates' brilliance was a double-edged sword. His sharp intellect and piercing questions were seen as provocative by the judges, causing discomfort and even resentment. The more he argued, the more they were convinced of his guilt. The trial's conclusion was grim. Despite Socrates' spirited defense, the court ruled against him. The man who spent his life seeking wisdom and truth was sentenced to death. But even in the face of such a dire verdict, Socrates remained unbroken. He continued to stand by his convictions, refusing to renounce his beliefs or apologize for his philosophy. To him, living a life without philosophy was not worth living at all. Despite the court's decision, Socrates held his ground, demonstrating the conviction in his philosophy. Even in the face of death, he remained true to himself and his ideals. And thus, the trial of Socrates serves as a timeless testament to the power of conviction and the pursuit of truth, a story that continues to echo through the ages. What would you do if you were sentenced to death for your beliefs? Socrates faced this grim reality with dignity. Locked within the cold, unforgiving walls of his prison cell, Socrates found himself in the company of guards. But did he despair? No, he continued to do what he did best, engage in conversation. Even in his confinement, Socrates found a forum for dialogue, a place to discuss profound concepts of freedom, goodness, and evil. His cell became a classroom, his guards the students. His intellect remained unchained, his spirit unbroken. He was a philosopher, a teacher even in the face of death. He conversed about freedom not as a political concept but as a state of being. He explored the intricacies of good and evil, not as mere abstract ideas but as real forces shaping human lives. The time for his execution arrived. It was to be done by drinking a cup of poison, a deadly brew of hemlock. In the presence of his students and companions, including the renowned Plato, Socrates faced his end. No cries of despair, no pleas for mercy, only calm acceptance and unyielding courage. He held the cup not with trembling hands, but with the steady grip of a man who had accepted his fate. As he drank the bitter poison, there was no fear in his eyes, only the unwavering gaze of a man standing by his convictions. His last breath was not a gasp of terror, but a sigh of contentment, of a life lived true to oneself. His execution was not a moment of defeat, but a testament to his indomitable spirit, his unyielding pursuit of wisdom. It was a powerful statement, a resounding echo of his belief in the freedom of thought, the power of knowledge, and the courage to stand by one's convictions. In his death, Socrates became a symbol of intellectual bravery, standing up for his beliefs until his last breath. Socrates left no written works, but his words live on, shaping philosophical thought for centuries. Socrates, the father of Western philosophy, is known for his profound wisdom, intriguing dialogues, and timeless aphorisms. His ideas and sayings have been passed down through the writings of his students, such as Plato, and continue to resonate in contemporary thought. One of his most influential concepts is the Socratic method, a form of dialogue where questions are posed to stimulate critical thinking and to expose the contradictions in one's beliefs. This method, still used in teaching and counseling today, testifies to the enduring relevance of Socratic thought. Socrates' pursuit of wisdom led him to believe that the only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. He held that acknowledging our ignorance is the first step towards gaining knowledge. This humility before the vast expanse of the unknown remains a cornerstone of intellectual pursuit. In his quest for moral excellence, Socrates professed, "An unexamined life is not worth living." He urged us to constantly reflect on our actions, beliefs, and values. Only through introspection can we lead a life of virtue and purpose. Socrates also believed in the inherent goodness of people, asserting that no one commits an evil act knowingly. He argued that ignorance, not wickedness, is the root of all evil. Enlightening the mind, he believed, is the solution to overcoming our flaws and bettering ourselves. Furthermore, Socrates valued integrity above all else. "Regard your good name as the richest jewel you can possibly be possessed of," he advised. He lived by these words, choosing death over compromising his principles during his trial. His unwavering commitment to truth and justice sets a powerful example for all of us. Socrates also questioned societal norms and values, challenging us to think for ourselves. "Think not those faithful who praise all your words and actions, but those who kindly reprove your faults," he said. This quote encourages us to seek constructive criticism over empty praise, for it is through honest feedback that we grow and improve. Socrates' ideas continue to shape modern philosophy, education, and ethics. His teachings on critical thinking, self-reflection, and moral virtue are as relevant today as they were in ancient Greece. His commitment to questioning, to seeking truth, and to leading an ethical life has inspired countless philosophers, thinkers, and ordinary people in their quest for wisdom. In his relentless pursuit of wisdom and his courage in the face of adversity, Socrates truly was a man ahead of his time. His philosophies have transcended the ages, teaching us the importance of self-examination, the pursuit of knowledge, and the commitment to truth. He reminds us that wisdom is not merely about accumulating facts, but about understanding ourselves and our place in the world. Socrates, a man ahead of his time, continues to inspire us with his relentless pursuit of wisdom and his courage in the face of adversity. His words, ideas, and legacy continue to echo through the corridors of time, challenging each of us to live a life of wisdom, courage, and integrity.